Yo, everybody, welcome back to Tapped In. It's your boy Zaid. I'm here with Ayub and Sino. And today we've got a very long-awaited guest. It's been a couple of months in the making. This person is a champion, a young legend. He's also ranked number 1 in Australia for his division.
Jeez.
He's also ranked top 10 in the entire world. You know what I mean? So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got some serious weight in the building. Omer Izaz, welcome to the podcast, brother.
Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, it's a pleasure, man.
Welcome,
I know you've got a
welcome.
lot going on, traveling and whatnot. So we're happy to, get this moment to have a good conversation and, ask you some questions. How you feeling, bro? We'll start off with that.
I'm feeling good. I feel good to be here. Thank you guys for having me.
More than welcome, bro.
Pleasure's
First day of Ramadan, bro. Just gonna take it easy. And just tell us a bit about you, like where you're at in terms of your boxing journey right now, for those who might not know.
Right now, I'm categorized as podium potential for the next Olympics.
Mhm.
So
Sheesh, that's
yeah.
hectic, bro.
Yeah. So everything I do, like from this point on, is it's in preparation for the Olympics. Every tournament, every training session. So yeah, that's the next the big goal.
That's nuts, bro. Allah Mubarak, man. Allah make it easy
Mashallah.
for you. How old are you, bro? If you don't mind me
I'm
asking.
20.
20 years old.
20 years old.
Praying for the Olympics.
Yeah.
What were you doing when you were 20, bro?
No,
I don't answer.
Hey, that's not going to get answered right now, man.
That's
not
cool.
gonna get
That's cool,
answered.
bro.
Nah, congratulations, man.
Nah,
Where did
thank
this boxing journey start?
Well, it started 2021.
2021.
Just finished the soccer
Yeah.
season in 2019.
Yeah.
Then 2020, obviously, it was the pandemic, COVID. And then I was playing soccer and stuff. I had gotten injured at trials. And I snapped my collarbone in half.
Wow.
And the passion for soccer was just kind of dying.
Yeah.
And then after that, I had moved houses from, obviously I was living in Carlton to the western suburbs. And I thought, I was still recovering in that. And by the time I had moved houses, I was looking into getting back into soccer. I sussed out a couple clubs around the area, but it wasn't the same as...
It wasn't going off, yeah?
It wasn't the same
Tiny,
as it was
tiny.
before,
Yeah.
The clubs there just weren't as good.
The clubs in the inner city are way better.
Yeah, they're a lot better, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah.
So, and then the season had started, and I was kind of playing, still training a bit soccer, by myself.
Yeah.
And then I thought, you know what, let me just stay fit during the off season. And I found a boxing gym nearby because, I always enjoyed boxing. Always watched boxing, and I thought I've always wanted to get into it. I was let me just search up gyms near my house. And I remember the first gym that really stuck out to me was the gym that I'm at now, Team Ultimate in Hoppers Crossing.
Shout out to them.
Shout out
It
to
was
them.
it just looked like a family gym. And I remember after the first day of going there, I still remember it like it was yesterday, I was like, yep, I'm boxing. I'm quitting soccer. I knew from that point on. And then I was training for about 2 months, 3 months. The coach never looked at me,
Yeah.
ever. And then one day he walked up to me. He goes, "Have you ever boxed before?" I said, "Nah, I never boxed before." And he goes, "If you stick to boxing, I promise I'll make you a world champion." And I remember from that day on, I said, "Yep, I'm boxing."
You're sticking to
I
it.
went home. I told my mum,
This is it.
yeah,
This is what I'm doing, huh?
This is what I want to do. I'm gonna box. I never had any plans of I want to fight. I want to do this. I just really enjoyed the sport. I enjoyed being in the gym. I'll do extra classes, extra sessions. I'll be in the gym from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. After
Just
school.
enjoying it. Yeah.
I'd get home. And I'd just repeat that. So yeah, it's been a good journey so far. I'm really enjoying it.
Beautiful. How did mum find it? Because I know African parents sometimes when you say
You
you're
know
going
what?
boxing.
She took it well. She took it
That's
very
good.
well.
Yeah,
She took
yeah.
it well. She said, if there's khair for you, may Allah make it easy for you. And
Beautiful,
if
beautiful.
it has shar, may He take
turn
it
it away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna say no glaze. Yeah, I'm a fan of you, bro. Yeah,
Thank you.
I like. You know what I like about you, bro? You're 20 years old. Yeah, you've grown up in the same areas as most of us have grown up in. Which means you face some of the adversities, the challenges, the distractions. But listening to you, you're talking about excessive hours of training, doing a bit more than everybody else. So I guess my question is how did you navigate through these distractions and get to the accolades that you are obviously reaching today, bro?
I think my older brother played a big part in that. He's always told me before I was a teenager. He was always warned me about the distractions and and everything. And I've always been an athlete like my whole life. You know, like from when I used to play soccer to even when I switched to boxing. He always told me that you know, stay away from XYZ, etc. So I feel like I've always lived that athlete lifestyle, and I've always known that I wanted to do something to do with sports in my life.
Yep.
And I knew that the sacrifice that had to be made was, for example, having a social life, or you know, like what other people my age would
Getting up
would
to at
have.
that time,
yeah.
right? So my question is, like, as you were going through this, I guess, journey to success, did your circle have to kind of change when things got more serious? Did you have to kind of let a couple of, you know, let a couple of things go?
I feel like my circle was always small already, you know, and I wouldn't say it got really smaller, you know, because I didn't really have like bad friends ever.
Yep.
But if I ever seen someone that like let's say I was in like the same, I happened to be in the same circle, and I seen something that just didn't align with what I wanted to do, I would just distance myself from that, you know. And having a coach like mine, I shout out to him.
Who's your coach, by the way?
James Rosler.
Shout out to James, man.
Shout out to James. Having a coach like him in my corner, it's unbelievable. Like all the stuff he's taught me, it's not just with boxing, you know, it's with life.
Yeah.
He's like a second father figure to me. You know?
That's
And
mad, bro.
Even the boys I have in the gym, it's like a brotherhood, you know. From when I was young, starting in the gym, 16, till now, they've
Still
taught
got
me a
that-
lot just about life.
That close kinship as well, yeah?
100%. And that's what kept me going back to the gym. Whether I had a bad day, good day, having a brotherhood like that is what kept me in the gym, and it's the reason I'm where I am today.
That's amazing, man. So
I got a quick
yeah,
question.
go, yeah.
What would you say that you had to sacrifice for boxing?
To be honest, I don't look at it like a sacrifice, but you can say social life or going out with friends. Like, I don't really have time to go out with friends much like right now, because I'm always training, and if I'm not training, I'm resting, you know. So I don't look at it as a sacrifice, because I chose to be where I am, and I enjoy it. I really, really enjoy it. So it doesn't feel like a sacrifice to me. I'm getting to do what I love. I'm traveling the world while I'm at it. And not many people can say they have the opportunities that I have at such a young age.
That's very true, bro. I think we had a couple of conversations off the camera. 12 countries you've seen in the last...
Nah, I think it was
10
like
countries?
I fought in about 6 or 7 countries.
Mad.
I think traveled to 8 with boxing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Kazakhstan being one of them?
Kazakhstan was
So
on
2-3 years and you forgot, huh?
it.
Crazy,
Something
man.
like that.
Crazy,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about the Kazakhstan experience, training, you know, up there, and what, you know, tell me some stories maybe. you
Yeah,
got.
I reckon that was the hardest training camp I ever had in my life. you
Yeah?
know? So we had started off at the selection event in May for the World Championships.
This was 2025.
2025 May, end of May. We had the selection event. Obviously, I had 2 fights there. You know, by Allah's will, alhamdulillah, I won that. Then literally a week later, I was right back at the Institute of Sport in Canberra, and we
A
had
week later.
A week later, yeah.
Amazing.
The whole team was back.
Yep.
Then we had 10 days training camp there, just with the Australian team.
Yep.
And then from there, we all went to Kazakhstan for 2 weeks. I think we were there 3 weeks in total. 2-week training camp, and then 1 week of just competition, which was the World Boxing Cup. It was in Astana. So I remember first getting to Kazakhstan, I was like, yo, like this is like kind of the mecca of boxing, you know, like amateur boxing.
Crazy,
Like,
man.
there's, you know, Gennady Golovkin, Triple G. I ended up meeting him before I fought as well.
No way.
Yeah,
Talk
he
about a
came-
G up, huh?
Yeah, I'll get to that. But the training camp was crazy. I remember, like, it was probably, the hardest training camp I've ever had, because it was just different. It was not only the first time being on the international stage like that, it was just different. Like the sparring, the training we were doing, it just, it was like a whole new thing for me, you know? And I remember, like, one of the sparring sessions, I went there, and, like, I was already feeling, like, a bit off, and, like, I'd say I was kind of doubting myself a little bit, like, do I really deserve to be here?
Yeah.
Is the sport for me?
Yeah, of course.
And I remember, like, there was, like, 5 guys, like, in my weight, and, like, the number 1 to number 5 in Kazakhstan. And, like, over there, like, they have like 30 people in their division, you know, like in each division. It's like everyone there wants to be a boxer, you know. It's like it's a big thing there. It's like their national sport.
Yeah.
And from the number 1 to the number 4, number 5, there's not a big gap. There's not a big gap.
In terms of skill set,
In
or
terms of skill, hunger,
Everyone's
there's not a big gap.
chasing it,
You know? Everyone there is good. Like everyone's a gun. If you're not on, you're getting smoked.
It's just about who's going the hardest, who's got the most hunger, really.
Exactly.
30 people per weight division, like that's pretty. Every 5 kilos, another 30 people trying to make the next, you know.
Straight up.
Nice.
And I remember like in sparring, they're cheeky, you know. They would just tap each other.
Yeah.
And then when they got to me, they were just all trying to like smoke me. Like it got really bad until like the head coach was, he's like, Omar, I'm like worried for your safety. Are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine, coach. I remember I spoke to my home coach, and it was a hard 2 weeks training there.
Yeah.
I remember on the last training session, like my coach called me and then he sent me a long message. And my coach doesn't do messages, you know. He hates
So
messages.
something was up, huh?
Something was up. He sent me a long message, and I think in the whole message, there was like one part that really stuck out to me. And he's like, Omer, you dropped the ball. You know, like you really got to pick it up. And I remember that morning, I ate breakfast. I was quiet, and usually I'm like real social. I'm always talking. I'm the one with energy on the team. And I remember someone on the team's like, "Oh, you're real quiet today." I was like, yeah. Just finished my breakfast, and I remember like going to the stadium or the training, the national training center that day. I said, "Yeah, someone's getting bashed today. It's not gonna be me. It's not gonna be me." And I can't remember who I moved with that day, but I sparred really good, and I started to feel good again.
Yeah.
And then like I think 3 days out, I was still, you know, a bit like didn't really want to compete. Like I didn't really want to do it, and my coach just kept pushing me. I call my coach every day when I'm overseas, you know.
Of course.
Like no matter what country I'm in, no matter the time zone, we have like a different connection. You know, I call him at a specific time every day, depending on where I am. And I remember he just kept pushing me, telling me like, "You're meant for this. You know, you deserve to be there. You earned your spot." And then I remember, 3 days out, I was hitting pads, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm back." I knew I was back. Yeah.
So would you say that he was probably one of the most important people in your support corners? Like,
yeah, 100%. Even the last tournament, you know, like I just came back from Canberra not long ago it was the Commonwealth Games selection trials, and I had fought in there, and I thought there was going to be a bunch of people in my division. There was a couple pullouts. I had to be in Canberra a week long with no fight. And I was watching all my teammates fight on the Victorian team, and I was just kind of like waiting.
Itching for a fight, huh?
I wouldn't say itching. It was, but it was definitely like hard mentally to just be there. I kind of felt alone in a sense.
Yep.
And it was just like I was just waiting. And I remember the day my coach got there. It was Wednesday, and I had fought on Friday. And the second my coach got there, it was like everything had changed. Everything had went out the window. It was back to the basics. And he told me, like, I remember I was feeling really nervous because I had fought this guy last year.
Same contender?
Same, yeah. I fought him in the finals, and he gave me a tough fight. Honestly, that fight could have gone either way. The one last year, and that was for the World Championship selections. And I had big pressure. I remember waking up that day thinking like, why do I even do this? You know, why do I even box? And then I remember like I had to like kind of, you know, get myself in the zone that day just to fight. And I remember that's why I was nervous for this one, you know. My coach told me, you know what? I'm proud of you whether you win, whether you lose. He's like, look at the stuff we've done, you know, in the short amount of time. Like he's like, you're 10th ranked in the world. You've had 23 fights. You're fighting guys, 100 fights, 200 fights. He's like, you're at that level, you know. Just enjoy it. If you're not enjoying it, you shouldn't be doing it. And I wouldn't say I felt my best in the last fight, but I did more than enough to get the job done. And, you know, we got the win. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So
That's where you
I was
came
happy
from,
with
huh?
that.
I think what's commonly overlooked, is, you know, when we see a lot of these combat sports athletes, behind the scenes, you know, the emotional state, you know, your mind state. How is that, like, fighting those demons when you're in the midst of, you know, some of these biggest fights of your career? You know what I mean?
It's tough, man. Like I remember even fighting in Kazakhstan, like the first fight. I don't think I've ever been that nervous for a fight. Like,
Yeah.
I remember it was a packed stadium.
Mm.
All you hear is the drums, Kazakhstan, Kazakhstan, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, yo. I
You feel
remember
like an alien, yeah?
Where's the
Yeah.
Australian, where's the
Yeah.
Australian anthem, bro?
Yeah.
You need
I
to
remember
Australian
like peeking out, and like I looked at the stadium like from the back, and I was like, yo, am I really ready for this? There's like so many
Yeah.
people watching me, and like the guy I fought, like the first guy I fought, I remember in the first 10 seconds he just ran at me and threw like 4 punches, and like I think 2 of them landed pretty big, and I was like, yo, am I gonna get knocked out?
Yeah.
And then I remember like there was one point when I threw the first punch I threw, and I was like, oh, this is just like any other fight. It didn't even feel like, you know, it didn't feel like you're on the big stage, you're here, you're doing this. It just felt like just another day in the gym. And I feel like that's what I tell myself before every fight. It's just another day in the office. And that keeps me calm.
Yeah.
That's
'Cause
amazing.
I was gonna
bro.
say, there's a lot of negative self-talk sometimes, you know, where you start doubting yourself and stuff.
And it's normal. That's the thing. A lot of
Exactly.
people think that.
Yeah, it's
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And they're the like this goes out to all the young people, you
Yeah.
know, and even us ourselves, you know,
Yeah.
that negative self-talk is a part of being human.
Yeah,
But don't let it
100%.
consume you.
Yeah,
because
but
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can't
yeah,
let
yeah.
it consume
you're
you.
gonna have to shake it off, because
100.
sometimes putting yourself, like, you know, talking to yourself positively. If you look at like what Omer's saying as well, there's moments that, you know, he's in the gym and he's like, bro, this is just the same thing, you know. It's like being in that boxing room, you know.
Yeah.
So you gotta always talk to yourself in a positive light. But then the negative self-talk is always going to come no matter what, you know? So how do you sort of shake it off at times where you feel like, I can't get out of this, you know
What's
what I
your
mean?
what's your
What's your remedy?
like,
remedy,
what's your routine to get out of it?
That's a good question. I feel like I've been there enough times to kind of know that
Yeah.
it's normal.
Yeah.
And I just remember why I do it. You know? I remember that how much I enjoy the sport, my love for the sport, and I feel like that really pushes it away, because I realized, like, I remember after the World Championships, I thought that I enjoyed boxing just because I was like I was kind of coming up, I was doing well, but I realized in that fight, like I fought a really tough guy. He was from Uzbekistan. It was a tough fight. And I realized, like, yo, I really love this, win or lose. Like, I genuinely enjoy being here. And, like, when you're in a ring, like in a stadium, the light is, like, really bright and it's just on you. Like, I enjoyed the little things, you know?
Yeah.
The minor details, I really enjoy it. Like, just from the walkout, from, you know,
Spotlight.
them announcing your name, being in a stadium, looking around, like, you know? I enjoy every part of it, you know?
Yeah.
The hard part, the fun part, I enjoy it.
Yeah, and the why, and that's the most important thing. That's what's
Exactly.
getting you places, is solidifying your why and understanding why you're there, you know? Because
Yeah.
there'll be people that have that negative self-talk, but if their why is not solidified, they won't be getting all these titles, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And let's break that down, speaking of titles.
Speaking of,
it's time to
you
break
can
that
see
all
our
down.
normal setup of Tapped In has been
Yeah.
taken over. You know, we've got a
So
bit
we
of
can
a...
start with the one right there, the shiny one in the middle, or do we start with the two in the corners? That looks like it's the
That one was the medal I won in Kazakhstan.
yeah,
Bronze medal.
blue one there, yeah.
World Cup.
Which one? Sorry, before you continue, which one did you get first? Was this the one you got first?
The belt was the one I got first.
Oh, we'll get to that. So this one you got in Kazakhstan?
That was the first World Cup I ever been to, and
Yeah.
the first World Cup I medaled in.
And that's bronze?
Beautiful.
Bronze. Yep.
Oh, my bad. And then that nice, beautiful, red, shiny belt on the top of the TV
I won that at the Australian Club Championships
in Adelaide?
in Adelaide in May.
Nice.
May last year, right?
And what title is that?
It's just the Australian Club
Australian
title.
club title.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
okay.
And to the far right of the TV is another one staring at me.
That was my last World Cup medal.
Yeah.
I won that one in India in November.
Nice.
In India.
In India, yeah.
True? Not
Yeah.
bad, bro.
And which one means the most to you, looking at all these titles right now?
I feel like that one in Kazakhstan, because what I
yeah.
went through in the training camp.
Yeah, bro. It's
Like
got
I
more of a
was-
story to it. It's got more
Yeah,
weight
it's
behind it.
got a story to it,
Yeah.
and it reminds me of why I do it as well, in
Yeah.
a sense. So that one's definitely means the most.
So do you wear like the Australian uniform when you go to these countries? Or like
Yeah.
The Olympics, you have to, yeah?
Yeah, so what I want to know with that is, do you feel like you represent more than yourself when you wear that? And when you wear it, do you feel the pride or do you feel the pressure? Or like, what's that? Because for me, I can't imagine, you know, how that might feel, bro.
Like I feel the pride, to be honest, wearing it. You know, like you're walking in airports and you're with the whole team,
Yeah.
like you're
Representing your own country, that's mad,
representing your country. You know, I feel blessed, and like the opportunity that I've been given. It's amazing. You know, you walk around. in that tracksuit, and you're in airports. People are stopping you, asking you questions, like, "Oh, where you guys going to?" Like, it's pretty cool. I enjoy it.
That's amazing, bro. So wild. And another thing I'll say is, do you think that confidence is something that you are born with or you have to build? Because, obviously boxing, you need a lot of confidence in some aspects. So do you think you always had that confidence that you have now, or do you think that through the journey you had to build that?
No, I had to build it through the journey.
Yeah, man.
Through the journey.
So looking back to where you were, in the early days and looking to where you are now.
I would have never expected it. Nah.
Yeah.
I would have never expected. Like, I definitely had an idea of where I wanted to be, but I wouldn't have expected it, and definitely not this quick.
Yeah.
Definitely not this.
Because now you've been training total 5 years?
Just under.
Just
It'll be
under
5
5
years
years.
this April.
Oh wow!
But it was at the start. It was kind of on and off because with the pandemic, we'd go into lockdown. So I feel like 2022 was the year that I really
Commenced.
Yeah, I really started properly training like an athlete.
And what's your goal? What's next? What's next for Mr. Omer?
Next is a World Cup in Brazil. I'm pretty sure. And then just a bunch of other international tournaments for this year. And then, but the big one is just the Olympics. So as I said earlier, every tournament I do, every session, every training camp I do overseas, it's all in preparation for the Olympics.
Oh no,
That's the big goal for me.
yeah.
Oh, I got a little bit of a viral segment that we normally do.
Yeah.
So I want to throw 5 boxes at you, right? And you just have to place them in rank of either influence or who you just all round just like to watch, or who you resonate with more, whatever you find comfortable. But yeah, from 1 to 5, right?
Okay.
So we've got Terence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, Canelo, Tank Davis, and Mayweather.
Oh, that's a good top 5.
Yeah.
That's a good top 5.
Yeah, I can't give you the easy ones, so
I'd say number 1, Floyd Mayweather.
Okay.
Number 2, Terence Crawford.
Okay.
Number 3, Canelo.
Yep. Okay, it's interesting, eh?
Who are the other 2 again?
We've got Manny Pacquiao,
Manny
we've got
Pacquiao.
Tank Davis, Javante Tank Davis.
Actually, I'd switch Tank for 3, put Canelo 4,
Canelo's
and
at
Manny
4.
Pacquiao 5.
That's a good one.
What did you base it on? Relatability? Overall, you just like him?
Relatability,
Relatability.
style,
Yep.
boxing style.
Couple of selfies.
You got that Mayweather in you, huh?
A little bit. I like to I like to box. I don't really like to brawl.
Yeah.
It's not really my style.
Mm.
I'm better when I box. When I brawl, it just becomes a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, every man for himself.
And for those people who don't know, what's the difference between boxing and brawling?
Boxing is like you kind of pick your shots, and you stay on the outside, and you just clean boxing. 1, 2, step out. But brawling is just like you just walk forward, you get hit, and you throw punches as well. Like
You're there, yeah.
brawling is like you're willing to take a punch to give 2. I'm willing to give 2 and not take any.
Yeah.
That's the difference. Yeah.
Beauty, man.
I'll ask you another one. So obviously, around the faith, how does the faith help you, I guess, through the hard parts of the sport, or through your darker times?
Ooh, that's a good question. I feel like my faith is number 1, I feel like I'm so much more than just a boxer, whereas a lot of people, they don't have that, their whole personality is just boxing. And I have so much more outside of boxing, and faith is the number 1 thing for me. And having that it's like having peace,
Yeah.
like everything's meant to be, everything's for a reason, I believe. And having Allah by my side, it really helps, in the hardest of times. Like even in Kazakhstan, I thought, I don't have to do this, but I'm choosing to be here, So I feel like faith is the biggest thing for me.
I definitely relate to that, bro. 100%, man. And I mean, I wasn't in Kazakhstan, dealing with some of your trials, brother, but I definitely agree with that, that grounding, and it helps you get through those harder times,
Yeah, 100%.
Tell me what a bad day training looks like for you. So, obviously not every day you have the same level of motivation. So,
Or energy.
Yeah, what's a lazy day
Or
for Omar in
motivation.
the gym boxing,
Before
But
when
you
he
said-
said it,
yeah,
when
he
he said it
said
before, I was
your-
like, hey, that's a hard day
Yeah,
for
tell us
us.
your off season. Obviously, your schedule is like
Off-season is
majority of
probably
everyone's on
Training
season.
4 or 5 days a week, once a day. Just go to the gym. No training in the morning. Just get to the gym, train, maybe run, and just go home. Just for the whole week. That's a lazy week, I'd say.
That's a lazy week.
For us, that's an active week.
That's 95% of Australia's in season is 5 times a week, 1 day a week. You know, that's crazy, man. Absolutely.
And then an on season.
On season is like 6 days a week, 2 to 3 times a day, training, strength conditioning, all that.
So give us some advice, bro. Like, it's Ramadan, man. You know, some of us are trying to get it to your level of athleticism. What do we do with nutrition? What do we do with the training? What's the best time to eat? What kind of food should we be eating? When's the best time to train? Let us pick your brain a bit around that.
I reckon high protein diet.
Yep.
And also like you can't miss suhoor. I reckon that's key.
What's your go-to? What's Omer's go-to suhoor in training season?
I'd say Greek yogurt.
Yep.
Chia seeds, honey, and just like frozen fruit, frozen berries.
I'm trying that tomorrow. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
Bro. I'll let you know how that one goes. And what about training schedule? So obviously now, you know, fasting for 15 hours now we're doing in Australia.
15, 16.
15 to 16. So with that, that's a very tight eating window. Yeah. Not to mention sleeping 8 hours or 6 hours. You know, so
prayers, everything.
Yeah, try to wear prayers at night too. So where do you find the time to train, and what do you think works for you the best? You know,
I think the best time to train is like maybe an hour before breaking your fast.
Before?
Yeah. Wow. I reckon just before, because you get a good session in and you're hungry and you go home and boom, it's time to eat.
Recovery is there, yeah?
Yeah.
How is it training? How is it training an hour before you break your fast?
To be honest, I reckon it's better.
Yeah.
I reckon I'm more alert, more switched on. I feel like I spar better while fasting, but the only hard part is just no water.
Yeah,
so that's the only hard part. The no food is it's no problem. You know?
Yeah, that's tough, man. And are you still maintaining the 5 days a week or 6 days a week training now in Ramadan, or are you being a bit more like recovery focused?
No, I'm still training 5 days a week. Like still even twice a day I'll wake up suhoor, train, or even after I'll train right before I break my fast, and then after I break my fast I'll go for a run before I go to sleep. But you also have to, you're fasting and you kind of have to time it right, and you got to be careful as well, you know, and you also got to know your body. I feel like that's the number one thing. Like I kind of know my body. I've trained throughout Ramadan for 3 years now. I kind of know when I need a rest, when I need a break, and when I need to like turn it up.
Yeah, for sure. And what do you find is harder, the time when you're in the training camp or right before the fight? What do you feel like mentally is more like, just sort of, you know?
The training camp. Fighting's the easy part.
Oh, yeah?
Fighting's the easy part.
That's mad, bro.
The training camp, the making weight, the mental, that's the toughest part.
And what's the most, I guess not boring, but I guess like, what's the most misunderstood part about boxers that most people don't really know? Or what's a myth about boxers that, you know?
A myth? Oh, that's a very good question.
Yeah, it's a hard one, bro.
That's
so
a
we
tough
can come
question.
back to it, you know?
It's a tough question. I feel like some people feel like all boxers like work super hard, whereas I know a lot that like slack off a lot, like in the off season. Like I know fighters that will, they'll only train when they have a fight coming up, whereas they won't be like disciplined throughout the whole year.
But are they still getting medals and winning fights?
Are they doing
like
this?
that?
I mean, I don't know. I think I've never seen any that have, but I can definitely tell you, I believe some have gotten away with it. But pure talent, you know. But obviously, it'll catch up to you at some point.
Yeah, bro. Hard work and talent, bro.
Hard work beats talent. Yeah, any day of the week. Yeah.
You have to, you have to work hard. That's the number one.
Interesting, man. So, I guess just going back to that, growing up around the distractions. So, obviously, you have a good support system in place. But a lot of young people do have the same similar support systems in place. So I guess, what's the thing that you do that actually, you know, helped you navigate? So for example, you know, going out and partying, or, you know, drugs and all those kind of things that are really easy to get
swindled into doing.
Yeah, like just thrown off your course, you know. So like how do you actually apply yourself? Because obviously it sounds good in the context, but how do you actually stay away from those things and just remain focused? Like even with your post-fight ritual, that's very rare to have. Actually, what is your post-fight ritual, bro? Let's hear it. No? Let's hear it.
Just go get some ice cream and hang out with my coach.
And I can imagine not every boxer is having the same kind of ritual.
I guess
routine, you know?
others are different. Some like to party. Some do something similar with their coach. But you find the ones that are always successful are the ones that are just hanging around their coach after the fight, you know?
Mm.
Yeah, so
Tunnel vision and not getting distracted, not doing
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that are going to take off all the hard work.
yeah, exactly.
That's what's up.
That's mad, bro. I'm really a fan, bro. Like, no glaze, bro. But you
My
know,
guy,
same.
thank you.
yeah,
It's
the
good to see.
discipline, you know,
Yeah.
the locking in for a substantial amount of years, bro.
I wanted to ask,
Mm.
based on your experience, yeah, coming in as a beginner at 16, focusing on the training, working hard, making sure that you always show up, removing yourself and distancing yourself from all the distractions that were presented to you, and, you know, eventually becoming a massive representation of Australia at such a young age, yeah, in the boxing world, yeah? What advice would you give a young person that is thinking about starting that journey or already in the midst of that journey? What are the do's and don'ts? What are the things to look out for? And what are the things that would assist them in kind of taking the same route as you?
Good question. I feel you have to trust the people around you, you know? You have to, like, your coach, you gotta listen to your coach. That's like, that's probably the best advice I can give. Listen to your coach, trust the journey when it gets tough, and stay consistent. That's the main thing. If you're not consistent, it's not going to work out, you know? And usually when, I feel like when you're going through it the hardest is right before you're about to have a breakthrough moment. Yeah.
That's what we always say, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Whenever we always used to say, whenever we're about to level up, like, there's pressure.
Crazy.
Or
but
you're in a
yeah.
situation where it gets tough, you know? And you know, like, hey, this opportunity, like me and my brother always used to say, yeah, when presented with this opportunity, it makes us nervous. You know the Eminem song?
Yeah,
Mom spaghetti, there's a vomit on the sweater already.
Mom's
Mom's spaghetti, you know, it makes your stomach shake, you know? Like whether you're doing a public speaking event, whether you're getting up in front of people, whether you're performing, whether you're going to do something that's completely out of your comfort zone, you know? At that stage, that's like,
It's like,
you get this sense where it's like, yeah, and now it's time to take it up a notch, you know? Now it's time to get to that next
100%.
level, you know?
100%.
And
yeah.
I'll resonate with you on that, bro.
Yeah, yeah. Every time I've felt like I didn't want to do it, it's when I had a crazy breakthrough and like I won a really big fight, you know?
Nice. And what's one of the biggest lessons boxing's taught you just about life in general?
You always got to stay disciplined, even when it's hard, because it'll always pay off. Always.
Facts.
I got 5 hot take questions I'm gonna ask you, bro. You know me, always gonna bring in something different. Tell me, what was the hardest fight you had, and where?
And why?
Ooh,
And
okay,
why?
okay,
Yeah.
okay. I feel like it's got to be at the World Championships in Liverpool. When I fought Uzbekistan.
Oh yeah,
Tough fight.
give you a run for your money, did they?
Yeah, I feel like everything he did had a purpose.
Yeah.
And some fighters, they throw punches just for the sake of it. But I felt with him, like every movement he did, it had a purpose, and it was for a reason. And he was smart, and he had a lot of experience. So yeah, I feel like that was my hardest fight.
And just on that, before I think you even asked the rest of the questions, we've got to talk a little bit about Liverpool. The story you were telling us before, I think the world needs to hear about the sauna situation.
Yeah.
And what was happening.
So
You got to do it with the accent too.
Yeah, okay. I remember I was in this place called Nuffield Health,
Yeah.
and it's like basically like a recovery center, like pool, sauna, steam room, and like obviously I carry my scales with me because like, you know, I'm making weight.
Yeah, of course.
So I had gone in the sauna, I had finished up, I put it on a tile,
Yeah.
and I dried myself off, checked my weight, and I thought I'd be a lot lighter, so I kept like changing tiles.
Yeah.
And this one guy came over, he's like, "Mate, what you doing?" he's like, "You're built like a stick. I was like, you don't need to check your weight." And I was like, I told him, "Oh, no, I'm a boxer. I do this."
Yeah.
He's like, "Where are you from? You got an accent?" I said, "Oh, I'm from Australia." He goes, "You for the World Championships?" I said, Yeah. He's like, "In the Echo Arena?" I said, Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, he ended up following me on Instagram.
Hey,
He's
that
a cool guy.
accent is on point.
Yeah.
Bro. That sounds like
you
that.
can tell he's been there for a
Yeah,
while,
you've
bro.
been there,
Yeah.
Where are you from then? You know, crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
From Liverpool.
What did they think? What did they think about the Aussie accent?
Nah, they thought it was like really, really strong.
Madness, yeah.
Yeah, they thought
Yeah.
it was crazy to them because all of them have a really thick like Scouse accent.
Yeah.
Scouse trapping.
Even
Scouse trapping.
in Scotland was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we had a 2-week training camp in Scotland,
Yeah.
right before the World Championships as well.
Yeah.
The accent was, sometimes I actually couldn't understand the coaches
Yeah.
What? Repeat it again, yeah.
because we were training in the with the Scottish national team in their national training center, and he's talking really quick. He's like, throw this, and I'm just like, and the guy that I was partnered with, he was also in my weight division, but he was the Scottish 50.
Yep.
So I was like, hey, bro, what's he saying? Without a fail, everything he said, every time he explained something, I had to ask because I just couldn't understand.
Yeah.
It was like he talks too fast.
Accent's too different,
Yeah,
eh?
it's too different.
Yeah, I think the Scottish accent is a lot harder to decipher than the UK or the Liverpool accents, you know?
100%.
I fully get that, bro.
100%.
But you see, you've done a lot of traveling as well, man. It must have been hectic, bro.
Yeah, nah, like I got friends all over the world, you know. I can go to like different cities I'll be taken care of, you know.
It must be good to have the networks more valuable than anything sometimes. you
Yeah,
know?
100%. I agree.
I've got another couple questions for you. So, favorite combo or favorite punch to land?
The jab.
Okay.
Jab is the number one punch, and my coach
Yeah?
has been drilling it into me for a long time. You know, he says the jab will set you free. You know,
Yeah.
throw the jab. Most important punch in boxing.
Set you free and send them off into a bit of it. You know?
I hope
if
so.
you get it right, if you get it right.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I hope so.
That's
That's
mad.
the goal.
And what's one gym session you don't like to particularly skip? So you know,
I hate sprints.
you hate sprints.
I hate
so
sprints.
you'd prefer to skip sprints, but what's something you really enjoy, like in the component?
Something I enjoy.
Yeah. The sparring, is it the bags, pad work, you know,
Pad work
condition.
by far.
pad
Pad
work,
work
yeah?
by far. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really like sparring, to be honest.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And do you think that you need to have a specific person for pads? Because a lot of people say like,
Yes, yes,
Yeah, yeah, I hear you, bro.
100%.
you know? Yeah.
Me and my coach, like when we're in sync on
You got
pads,
that chemistry, huh?
it's like the whole room stops and watches. You know, it's like
Makes that specific
But if
noise
you
to
got-
get
Yeah,
a perfect
yeah,
hit.
yeah,
ready
yeah,
to
yeah,
go.
you know.
Someone that's not really holding them right.
Yeah, it just gets
That
a
can
bit.
hurt
yeah,
you,
it's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
different.
Fingers
It's
back a bit,
you
know?
feel a bit off. You
Yeah.
don't feel the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One boxer you'd love to spar, or one boxer you'd love to be in the ring with one day, man.
Oh, good question.
Yeah.
Shakur Stevenson.
You hearing that on the camera, man? We're calling him out, bro. Make it
Nah,
known.
nah, I'm not calling him.
Just,
You wanna get me killed?
No. You good, man. Another rapid question: Southpaw or Orthodox?
I'm Southpaw.
Mad, bro. Mad, bro. 3 years from now, what version of Omer would exist? Inshallah.
Inshallah, Olympic gold medalist.
Inshallah. May Allah make it easy for you, bro.
I mean.
And do you think you're chasing money, legacy, or you just have something that you need to prove to yourself in the world? Or all three?
I think just legacy.
Legacy.
Yeah, just legacy.
Leaving an impact longer than your time, huh?
Exactly.
Mashallah. That's what's up.
Makes you want to get into boxing.
Get it right into
I wish I did something like that and just stayed committed for a couple of years. And that's how you get in those positions, you know?
Right, it's never too late, man.
What would make you retire satisfied? Was it a man
World
of medals?
champion
World champion, yeah.
and Olympic gold medalist.
Olympic gold medalist and a world champion. That's good, bro. I feel like when you set him up real high like that too, you know, you strive for that, you won't get nothing less than, you know what I mean?
I hope so. I
With
hope
the
so.
dedication and the discipline that you show, bro, it's hectic, bro. Did you
Thank
ever feel like a pressure to live a different life outside of boxing?
Nah, not really.
Never pushed into a certain thing or anything. You had your lane and that was what it was, yeah?
Yeah, once I decided, I knew what had to be done, and I knew the path that I took, and I just kept going. Just listened to my coach, stayed grounded, listen to my family, and I'm like all in. You know, once I'm all in, I'm all in. There's no 50-50.
No looking back, eh?
Yeah, there's no 50-50.
When can we see you fighting locally? So anywhere in Australia, obviously Tapton's going to be there on the front lines, but you're a very international fighter.
Walking with you as well.
I don't know, maybe when I'm professional, because right now there's not there's not really anyone in my weight anymore in Melbourne. So
Taking them all out, have you?
Nah. They've some of them have moved up a weight division.
Yeah.
Others have gone pro. So maybe pro.
Pro, yeah. Inshallah, we'll be there for you, bro. Tapped in. We'll be front line and center with the football.
A dedicated
Make sure you let us
sponsor
know when
as
that's
well.
happening.
Dedicated sponsor.
Dedicated
Yeah.
sponsor of the cause.
Get us
Yeah.
on his shorts. Speaking of sponsor, actually, thanks for that cue, bro. Sting, bro. You're a funded boxer.
Yeah.
How'd that happen? Because first of all, Allahumma barik. You know what exposure did you have to get that opportunity? And you know, tell us a bit about it, bro. That's an amazing achievement, bro.
Yeah, thank you. I remember for the World Championships, because we're sponsored by Sting, the Australian team.
Yep.
All our gear is sponsored by Sting. I remember at the World Championships, they gave all of us like gloves and a bunch of gear, like 2 pairs of like shirts, like shorts, 2 pairs of gloves. And I had like just put it on my Instagram story. I shouted them out. I said, big thanks to Sting Sports for all the gear. I really appreciate it. And till today, I still use the gloves they gave me. And it's anyway the competition glove that we use for
Your fights.
for the fights. So whether it's fighting in Australia, fighting overseas, Sting is basically the big one, you know.
Oh yeah.
And
Everyone
it's used for all fights.
Mm.
And I had remembered they probably remembered like how I shouted them out after every tournament as well, like overseas. I would just tag them in my posts. And they would message me congratulations and all that. And I remember they said they're doing a shoot in Melbourne, and they asked if I was available. And you know, I looked at it as an opportunity to get my name out there. And I said, yeah, 100%, I'm down. And I did a shoot with them a couple of days ago.
Oh, recent, yeah?
Yeah, recent.
Yeah, because I remember seeing your story post saying thanks to Sting Sports. That was like very recent, yeah?
Yeah, that was like a couple of days ago. What's
Yes.
today?
Thursday.
There you go.
The
Thursday.
19th,
I
is
did
it?
the shoot on Monday.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, Monday.
So you see, what I like to take away from this is that people tend to undermine the power of social media, right? All you did was say thank you and, you know, showed your appreciation to someone giving you some stuff, but over time and continuing posting and then, you know, accepting those opportunities. Now look,
Yeah.
you get what I'm trying to say? Like, it's actually hectic in that, bro. Like, you know, you played your cards right and look at you now. So can you give me a pair of Sting boxers gloves or what, bro?
Hey, man, I got a spare pair for you if you want.
Oh,
bro.
yeah, sweet.
I got a spare pair.
Yeah. I'm going to have to hold you to that one, bro.
Just shout them out. Shout them out.
Yeah. Shout out to Sting Sports. Sting Sports. If you guys want to get tapped in some gloves, we'll do a shoot too. You know, I'll get some pretty quick. Nah, I'm joking. We'll talk about that another time, man.
Yeah.
Have you ever felt misunderstood because people only see the boxing side of you? Or do you think you're pretty well?
A little bit sometimes, you know.
Yeah,
like when I see people, they kind of just, everyone asks the same questions. Feels like sometimes I have the same conversation like repetitively, you know, and it's kind of just the same answers, you know.
What's some of the questions, bro? What do they ask you so much?
Say, oh, like, are you ever in Melbourne? Like, just the same questions. Like,
Yeah.
whatever questions you think they'd ask, they ask. Like,
Yeah,
nothing
yeah.
crazy, you know.
I hope it's not the ones we're asking now.
Nah,
I don't want
it's
to be
not,
fall
it's
part of
not,
that, you know, genre.
It's not, yeah.
No, that's cold, man.
Yeah.
They're not asking you like about podcasting and stuff like that, like I did.
Nah.
Habibi, bro.
We're talking about positives. I want to talk a little bit about the negative side. Have you ever had like a moment where you're like, nah, bro, I'm going to quit? Have you ever had that
Or on the
moment?
verge. Or on the verge of
On the verge, yeah. Where you,
Never went. Actually, in Kazakhstan, I thought, yeah, I'm gonna come back to Melbourne. I'm just gonna hang
Wrap
the
it
gloves up.
Get a warehouse job.
Nah, because I used to look at all these fighters as the overseas fighters. Like some of them, you know, they get paid like a big salary to do it, and I used to look at them like, oh, like, you know, these guys are next level and whatnot, and because some of them actually overseas, they have to do it to feed their family, and they don't have a choice. They kind of have to fight if they want to be making more than minimum wage. But I just look at that and I feel like I gotten rid of that. They have to do it, so they're so much tougher. They're this and that. I just look at them and I look at them and I say, they don't have a choice. You know, I have a choice. I choose to put myself through hardship.
Still here.
And I'm still here. You know,
Mad
some of
mindset
them
shift.
they don't have that passion. I feel. You know, some of them actually just do it because they have to.
need, yeah.
Whereas I'm doing it because I love it. And if you truly love it for what it is, I feel like you'll go so much further than someone who does it because they have to. Someone that doesn't have a choice, you know?
100%.
But what was the exact reason that made you feel like hanging up the gloves? Like what was happening at that time? What you were thinking about that?
I feel like
It was the level there that you saw at Kazakhstan, yeah?
it wasn't, I don't even think it was the level. It was just like boxing like wasn't really clicking for me. Even the fight I had before that I had won, like, I didn't really feel the best. I just thought like, is this really for me? Like I can truly live an easy life. I can be like any other 20-year-old or 19-year-old at the time. I was like, I could just be like, you know, regular, just average, you know.
Relaxing and enjoying life.
Yeah, there's nothing, I don't have to do this, you know. But, yeah.
That's mad. And I think that another thing that, you know, I salute is you'd kind of be going through like an identity crisis at times, yeah?
Yeah,
So speak to us a little bit about that, because, you know, you are Omer, you are 20 years old, and you are like a high-ranking amateur boxer as well, you know what I mean? So tell us a little bit about how you can kind of have an identity clash with all of that.
A lot of people, I feel like if something doesn't work out in boxing, their whole world just comes crashing down, you know, whereas I feel like I've always, like, you know, alhamdulillah, I've always been like a good with taking a loss, even if it was a big fight. But luckily, anytime it's really, really mattered, I always win. Like whenever it really matters, you know, Allah always has my back. But I feel like, yeah, a lot of people, their whole world comes crashing down. But that's because they attach themselves so much to the sport. Whereas I feel like my faith kind of cancels that out completely.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like at the end of the day, no matter what happens, you can't take these medals, you can't take that belt to the grave with you. You know, you're going just with you, and it's between you and Allah at the end of the day. So.
Do you have like a spiritual routine before you get into the ring? Like, do you have a special?
Yeah.
Like a special dua, or like a, you know, like a,
LeBron James.
You're crazy.
You cooked it.
No, none of that funny business, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I usually take my prayer mat to the stadium. I find a little corner. I just pray 2 rakah. And then before, like, I put my right foot, before I enter the ring, I put my right foot first, say Bismillah, and then right before we touch gloves, I look up, I say, La ilaha illa ant, there's no God but you. Yeah. And then, you know, they say
you're ready
box.
to bam bam boogie, yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
That's mad, bro. We're coming to a closing, so I want to ask you 2 serious questions. One is, you know, you've got a mad career ahead of you, inshallah.
Inshallah.
You know, us as the brothers here at Tapped In, you know, we aim to be supportive of this for the whole way through in any way we can. But, you know, in the end, once your career ends, what's something you want people to remember you by or for?
That's a hard question.
Or what's a slogan, or what's something that you feel like you live by, or you know?
I feel like kun fayakun, you know, if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Don't try to force it, you know. I feel like when it's your time, it's gonna happen, you know. Especially in boxing, you know, like every fighter has like a time like where it's they're on, it's their time, and like for example, like a prime, like when you're in your prime, it's your time, and I feel like everyone has that time, and I feel like when it's your time, it's you know, it'll happen. You just have to
can't fight fate.
Yeah, you can't fight fate. You just have to keep going, keep working hard, and trust the process. Yeah.
I love that, bro. I love that. And for any young person, this is what we like to always ask at the end of our episodes. Any young person that's sort of aspiring to be in your position, that may be listening, you know, what are 2 or 3 things that they can take away from this episode, or that they can apply to themselves, you know, to get on that journey?
Believe in yourself. Trust the process. And if you work hard, you can do it. Anyone can do it. Just you have to put the right work in.
Believe in yourself, trust the process, and anyone can do it if you put the work in. I like it, bro.
Right here first.
Ladies and gentlemen, Omer, the top 10 ranked in the world, number 1 ranked in Australia, Sting Sports superstar, all year round athlete, Give him a round
Eritrean
of
brother.
applause. Eritrean brother. I give him
That's
some
the
love,
one.
man.
That's the one. That's
Thanks
the
for
one.
coming on the show, my boy. We really appreciate
Thank you for
man.
having me.
We'll put all his handles at the bottom, some highlights as well if you want to check out his stuff. But look, you know, it's an honor to have you on the show. I think it's fair to say it's the first, but definitely not the last, you know. Whenever you're in Melbourne, the limited time that you are, please come and check in with us and, you know, be there in support for all of your fights too.
Will do. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, guys.
Pleasure, bro. Tapped in, stepping out, man.
Pleasure's all ours.
My boy.